Previously on Alien Encounters. A monster spaceship in our solar system.
Our biggest fear is that they'll enslave us.
They could know as much about us as we ourselves do.
Alien emissaries deposited thousands of mysterious multiplying spheres that have been using us to move.
People are always afraid of what they don't understand.
The hopes of our entire species are pinned on an unmanned vehicle the size of a station wagon. Deep in the bowels of the alien mothership. Looking for signs of life. The unmanned rover, named Ambassador, has been slowly working its way through a sterile metal labyrinth.
It's entirely possible that there's nobody on the mothership. That's a human-centric thing, to see the big ship as a transport vessel for biological intelligence. The mothership might be nothing more than an elaborate alien FedEx package.
"36 hours inside a spaceship the size of a megacity, the rover finds nothing but metal. But at the heart of this machine is a chamber with a tangle of pulsing tubes, giving off oxygen, carbon dioxide, and heat. Signs of life.
I think it's very likely that an advanced civilization would combine the advantages of machines with the advantages of biological systems.
You use what tools are available. There are things where organic life is the answer, and there are things where a technological situation is the answer. There are places where you put them together.
The biology we know is ill-suited for most of the universe.
If you're a spacecraft designer, the most difficult thing to plan for is an astronaut. Astronauts require food, waste disposal, entertainment. They require all sorts of things that a machine just doesn't require.
Machines can be stronger, bigger, can exist outside of constraints like the weather.
The notion that this machine has a biological heart gives hope that it also has a sense of morality. But it could just be more efficient.
Biology has tremendous advantages over technological artifacts. The most powerful supercomputer requires many thousands of watts. Our brain takes only 20 watts, less than a typical light bulb. And yet, the human brain outperforms these supercomputers.
The difference between biology and machine is an artificial dichotomy that human beings have made up. You know, the human brain is a computer made out of meat. We're moving towards a blending where organic and mechanical become one.
Humans might not only merge with machines in the future, we're doing it right now. For example, I have a titanium screw in my shoulder that keeps my shoulder attached.
It's one thing to augment the human body with technology, but some say we're fast approaching a day when technology takes over. Could this alien species have gone through the same transformation? Did this great living machine have organic origins?
The singularity refers to the point where machines become more intelligent than the humans that created them.
Computers are doubling in capability every 2 years. By 2020, your laptop computer will have the same compute power as a human brain. Doesn't mean that it's going to be able to think, but maybe by 2040 it will be able to think.
So machines might develop their own sensory awareness, their own agendas that escape the human agenda.
Humanity may soon cross a threshold into an era of thinking machines. Perhaps the mysterious hybrid in our skies is a vision of our future.
You don't know what's going to happen on the other side. It can't be predicted. We will either have the powers that the Greeks used to associate with gods, or we'll be really, really sorry we took that path.
"500 miles below the mothership, the alien spheres demonstrate some form of intelligence, using us as hosts. What do they need from us? When the spheres divide, they shed microparticles. We are witnessing the reproductive cycle of an alien.
If you were fortunate enough to come across something that you thought might be alive, but not of this planet, well, you would try and keep it alive. But of course, you might not know what it takes to stay alive. I used to try and keep bugs alive in my room, and you know, they almost always died.
There is no agreed definition of life. Life looks almost miraculous. Its properties are so very weird, very different. But if we're trying to think in the more abstract way about life and the possibility of different forms of life, then it's really hard to put your finger on exactly what it is that makes life different.
Life as we know it really has two essential features. One is the ability to reproduce, and the other is the ability to take energy from the environment and use that to do things, like have a conversation like we're having right now.
You think, okay, if it meets all those criteria, Bob, it's alive. But of course, that's not true. There are all sorts of counterexamples. Things like fire reproduces, it consumes stuff and it leaves ash, it excretes stuff, but it's not alive.
Not long ago, the contents of the universe were neatly divided into living and non-living. But in labs everywhere, scientists are realizing that life as we know it isn't the only life possible.
I think we'd all hope that we could recognize that it's life somehow by what it's made up of. But life that's truly alien might not be based on those same molecules or even on the same mixture of chemical elements.
As the alien spheres reproduce, microbiologists are able to examine the dusty residue. The alien particles contain cell membranes. These membranes move and interact like living organisms. Except the membranes aren't organic. They're made of metal.
Any non-living matter that replicates, that solves problems, might as well be called life, just not as we know it.
At the University of Glasgow, chemist Lee Cronin is developing a substance meant to bridge the divide between non-life and life. His research could redefine how we look for life in the universe.
Life on planet Earth is merely an expression of the available chemistry set. And so I wonder if we go to another planet, whether the chemistry set is different, whether different types of life will emerge.
Cronin has developed artificial building blocks of life called iCells, or inorganic chemical cells.
Well, I wondered if we could use metal oxides or other elements to see if we could make a cell that could look like a biological cell, but be made out of totally different elements. Because once we've done that, maybe we could call this a new type of life.
Cronin's iCells can already mimic key behaviors of living cells, allowing separate chemical processes to occur inside them.
What we want iChells to be able to do is evolve. That would be a fantastic achievement, because it would tell us that biology is possible outside of organic chemistry, and that almost certainly there is life elsewhere in the universe, and that we should redefine the parameters for the search for life.
To be truly alive, an organism must evolve. We are alive because we can change.
Life is an entity that reproduces imperfectly and then adapts to its surroundings. A biological entity exists as itself, but as itself as an extension of 4 billion years of evolutionary history.
Right now, the spheres are changing before our eyes. In every corner of the world, all at once, millions of spheres let go. They just stop clinging. For the first time since the aliens showed up, billions of us breathe a sigh of relief. But some suspect this isn't the end of the alien life cycle. It's just the beginning. There is a new reality on planet Earth. Everywhere you look, everywhere you go, alien spheres, dubbed burdocks by the media, are just there. In the billions.
We are a species that tends to get bored very easily. If they didn't do anything harmful, you just begin to ignore them. Well, there's another alien capsule.
$5, get your burdock teas.
It's not hurting me, and I really have to go get the kids, and I have to get to the grocery store. It would be like having houseflies.
Our casual attitudes are rocked by a stunning announcement. The UN Security Council has found a pattern in the movement of the burdocks. By attaching to people and their objects, they've used us to migrate and are now congregating worldwide in population centers.
The saber-toothed tiger is bigger and stronger than you. If you can outpopulate the saber-toothed tigers, you're eventually going to win as a species.
Paranoia and conspiracy theories multiply almost as fast as the burdocks. In North America, Canada threatens to close its borders as thousands line up to cross.
There will be people who have been survivalists for most of their adult lives who will simply say, "I told you so," and run to their shelters in their caves and hide.
Biologists penetrate the metallic alien cells, and suspicions are confirmed. Just like our own cells, these contain genetic material. It looks like DNA.
DNA connects every living thing on Earth. We're just a bunch of strands that are arranged in a certain way.
DNA is an alphabet that can be reliably read. It is central to life. It's hard to imagine replication occurring without some kind of code like this.
The alien DNA looks remarkably like our own, except for one critical difference. It's constructed of different chemicals.
How did life choose DNA? Was DNA the first genetic material? Are there other genetic materials that may have once existed on this planet? Or could